Christy Henrich, who is coached by Al Fong.
Christy's nickname is ET, which stands for extra tough, and this kid is really tough. She's tough on this event, and she's a tough competitor. She's battled a lot of injury and illness in her career. Here's her first release, beautiful reverse hack right to a handstand on the low bar. Christy is so clean in her form, she narrowly missed a bronze medal at the World Championships. Nice dismount and a stuck landing. That's a solid performance.
You talk about those injuries and illness for Christy Henrich. Just battled her way all the way back from mononucleosis, just in time to make the championships. Not a lot of training coming in, but felt about 100%.
Here's a look at her release move. She does a full pirouette right into a reverse hecht. That's 2 D elements in a row.
And then when you talk about injury with Christy Henrich, just last year, a fracture in her neck. She really is extra tough. She finished 10th in the all-around this year. Last year, she was second behind Brandy Johnson, so that changing of the guard continues when you look at what has developed over the last 12 months for Christy Henrich.
She did a great job in this final. There's her dismount, a double back. It's a C element, but a beautiful landing.
So Christy Henrich waiting for the judges' results on her uneven bars, and a great score of 9.812. We move back to the third rotation for the men. Another UCLA Bruin, Cheney Humphrey.
Well, Cheney came racing out of the blocks in this competition. Had a bit of a problem when he went to the parallel bars in the optional round. But this event is all Cheney Humphrey. He is so strong. This kid is programmed for power.
So often we talk about the floor exercise and the lower body strength. In the still rings, the upper body strength really plays the important role.
Critical, Joel. It is critical for a successful routine. He's shown us great swing and tremendous strength. And watch this, a piked full twisting double somersault to a real good landing.
Outstanding effort by Cheney Humphrey. Told me when he graduates from UCLA, wants to go into medical school and eventually become a surgeon.
One of the biggest swing combinations in the competition. This is a pike double whippet, followed immediately by the same skill in the tuck position. Extremely difficult to be done one after another.
I am surprised that Terry Donahue did not take him away from UCLA coach Art Sherlock to become a fullback for the Bruin football team. A 9.675 in the still rings for Humphrey, but not good enough to overtake his college teammate Scott Keswick. Back over to the women's division, rotation number 2. And Kim Zmeskal, our all-around champion, where she had most of her problems on the uneven bars.
Many people say that this is Kim's weakest event, but it's weak relative to her other events. When you're capable of a 10, as Kim is in the other 3, a 9.7 or so seems low. This is where she had a little problem in the all-around competition. Well done. She works right out of it. That was beautiful. She still has another release and a big dismount. Reverse hecht, beautiful, and preparing for a dismount. Watch how high she goes on this dismount. A layout, double pike, and another great landing. That's typical Kim Zmeskal.
When I asked Kim about goals down the road, twinkle came in her eye, and she started talking about Barcelona in '92, and she's definitely a shining hope for U.S. Gymnastics in that direction.
This is one event where Kim Zmeskal is going to have to put in long and hard hours and make a lot of improvement. This is a skill that sometimes gives her some trouble, her Jaeger front, and that's how it's supposed to be done. She's been very inconsistent in big competitions on that element. On the other hand, she is very strong in the area of the dismount. She has a beautiful layout, double pike, and a tremendous landing. She goes so high in the air, it's hard to do it much better than this.
So a big improvement for Kim Zmeskal after a shaky start in the vault. She comes on strong on the uneven bars, and let's see what the judges say. For Zmeskal, it'll be a 9.812, and she is now tied for the lead with Christy Henrich.
Sunday, a special Father's
life, like responsibility, like
Like the lawn.
Yeah, but Dad...
Like this new Ford tractor.
Oh, excellent!
For more on the facts of life and Ford Lawn and Garden Equipment, we'll see you, Ford New Holland, dear.
Hi, Joey.
Available at Winston Ford Tractor, Patterson Avenue.
Stokes, fourth place all-around finisher yesterday. Up next on the uneven bars. Before she takes on that apparatus, though, she takes us through a regular work day for her at Bella Caroli's gym.
I wake up about 6 o'clock, get ready for gym, go to gym, work out for about 3.5 hours. And then from there, we get ready for school. We go to school for about 4 hours. And then we come home, maybe rest a little while, go back to gym, then we come home, do the homework, and then sleep.
How long is your training in the evening?
About 4 hours.
So how many hours a week are you spending in gymnastics?
About 35 to 40.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah.
That is a tough load for a young lady that's only 14 years old.
But it's also the secret to their success. On this event, Bella Caroli's gymnasts are characterized by their clean form and their consistent performances. They do well because they rarely miss. We just saw our first release, a Ginger, and here comes our second release, a reverse hect. Late in the routine, this is no easy task. Beautifully done. Now she's setting up for a dismount. Pirouette. Right into a double tuck. Little hop on the landing.
Erica Stokes, Olathe, Kansas, living in Houston, Texas, told me she was inspired by Mary Lou Retton at the '84 games. She was only 7 years old at the time. By the time she was 10, she had already moved to Houston and was training with Bella Caroli. Fourth place all-around finisher, will represent the United States at the upcoming Goodwill Games. Moving over to the men's third rotation, and from the national championship team at the University of Nebraska on the still rings, Mark Warburton.
Mark has a real inventive look on the rings. You'll see in the middle of his routine, he does a very unique combination. He shows us right there his first strength part, a nice L cross, and he'll kip and go right into a straddled flange right here. Now here's that unique piece of swing work. Watch this. It's a pike double whip it, followed immediately by another one right to the handstand. Extremely difficult. Done as well as anybody in the world. All he has to do is stick his dismount, and this is fabulous. A great landing.
The one event Warburton really excels at. He is the reigning Big 8 rings champion.
Another look at the most exciting part of his routine. Watch this. This is a pike double whip it. Immediately into another one. Doesn't really start from the handstand, so doesn't have as much power and is much more difficult.
And a 9.6 for Warburton, not as high as I thought.
You know, my only criticism of him in this routine is that he really doesn't have the super strength that you need to bring the big score in a finals competition.
We just saw Erica Stokes on the uneven bars, and she comes up with a solid 9.812. Another great score for Bella Caroli's gym. Sandy Woolsey now on the uneven bars.
This is Sandy's best event. The judges are looking for tremendous swing, spectacular releases like you just saw there, and big dismounts, and Sandy will deliver all of these things. Here comes her dismount. It's the most difficult dismount being performed in the competition. A full twisting double back, and she nails it. That was great. That was an awesome routine.
Possibly the best performance we've seen all weekend long from Sandy Woolsey.
This is Sandy's transitional move. The gymnasts are required to move from the low bar to the high bar. She does it with the release move. That was so well done. That's not really difficult, but it's unique. Most of the girls use the same connections, standard skills. It's really nice to see Sandy using something different. Sandy did a fantastic job on her dismount. She had the most difficult dismount performed in the competition. A full twisting double back. There's her full into the somersault and a back somersault out. Beautiful landing.
A superb job by Sandy Woolsey. She needs to top a 9.812 to take the gold. And she's done it. A 9-9 for Sandy Woolsey on the uneven bars as she celebrates with her coach, Stormy Eaton of the Desert Devils. Sandy finished 5th in the all-around competition, a member of our U.S. national team, and she is taken 1st in the uneven bars with that 9.9. So the women have completed their second rotation with Sandy Woolsey coming out on top, and a three-way tie for second between Stokes, Henrich, and Zumeskel. The men have completed their third rotation now on the still rings, and Scott Keswick took the gold, followed by Cheney Humphrey and Mark Warburton. We'll be right back to Denver. Welcome back to the individual finals. It's the balance beam for the women and the men's vault. The fourth rotation of the men's division, and the first up, a high school student from Houston, Texas, only 17 years old, Carrie Houston.
That's right, and for the men, 17, he's a youngster. We look at Sandy Woolsey, she's a veteran at that age. This kid has a bright future, and boy, is he dynamic here. A handspring laid out front. Very few people in the world have done this. Only the Soviets and a couple other gymnasts around the world.
So it truly is amazing to see that type of degree of difficulty from a 17-year-old.
What makes this so difficult is that he flips completely straight body in the forward position. A very awkward position. You don't see the ground until your feet are completely on the floor.
A 9-6, the first vault for Carrie Houston.
A great vault, but still a little bit rough around the edges.
Now remember, his second vault has to be different. Let's see if it could be possibly even more outrageous than the first.
Watch this, total reckless abandon. Wow.
Crash landing.
I tell you, this kid pulls out all the stuff. 17 years old, was an alternate to come into the finals, and he came in here trying to win it all.
So Carrie Houston has completed his two vaults.
Only a handful of athletes in the world attempting this vault at this point. Watch, 2.5 flips off of the horse, but really nowhere near it. But you gotta like his aggressive style.
9.2 on his second vault. That gives him an average of 9.4. You have to like the Carrie Houston, though, making a name for himself. Erica Stokes, the first up on the balance beam, the third rotation for the women. She was ranked second among the juniors last year, fourth in the all-around competition this weekend.
And Erica has a spectacular element coming up in her balance beam routine. It's a full twisting back handspring straddle down. And that's the skill that really sets Erica Stokes apart from the rest of the field. Really a nice mount there. Press to handstand and twice around on her hands. Here's her tumbling combination. Back handspring, layout, right on. The gymnasts on this apparatus are required to do an acrobatic skill right into a dance element, like Erica just did, back handspring into a sissone. Now she's getting geared up for that really big skill, her full twisting back handspring straddle down. The only girl in the competition today performing this element.
We are watching a young lady that is absolutely fearless.
That is definitely true, because the margin for error on this event is so small. And you know, if you miss that skill, it can't feel good.
Balance beam 4 inches wide, 4 feet off the ground.
Okay, she's preparing for a dismount. Round off, double twist, nice and simple, nice and clean. That was a great job for Erica.
A young lady you could hear a lot about in the near future, leading up to Barcelona in '92. Erica Stokes. And Christy, it looks like the type of move she made, which is coming up right now, if you miss, it looks like you really could land on your chin.
That's right, Joel, and you can bet she probably took some bumps and bruises as she was learning and perfecting this element. It was beautifully done.
Erica Stokes started on the balance beam in the all-around and comes up big in her third rotation with a 9.725.
That was a great score, especially considering she did a fairly simple dismount.